So welcome to this week's Optimal Health Clinic Facebook Live. And I have no idea if this connection is going to work. I'm currently visiting friends in the Dordogne in France, and I'm using mobile phone signal, so I don't know if it's going to have enough signal, but hopefully it will. And for this week's video, I wanted to talk about the importance of support. And the kind of context of this was I was emailing with somebody about the practitioner training program. And one of the things that they were saying they were particularly drawn to was the value of being around a group of people over a 12 to 24 month period which are on an active path or focus of recovery. And that's obviously one of the key pieces that's very acting on that. In the context also just of kind of my life this week, it's really, I've been out here visiting friends, one of which keeps trying to phone me, and I kind of realized that friendship and support was something that I didn't have a lot of on my path to recovery from ME chronic fatigue. And actually, even in the years since then, it was for the kind of 5 or so years after that, I was so focused on my career and on the things I wanted to do in the world that it wasn't really something that I prioritized. And then about 10 years ago, it just became very clear that I didn't have enough good friendships and people which were there in a way in my life that they weren't people I was working with, they weren't people that were necessarily kind of part of my growing up, that were a kind of different chapter of my life and different interests and different desires, but they were people that really met me where I was at that stage in my life and had shared dreams, shared aspirations, shared values, and just how immensely important that is, and how that in the kind of decade since then, just how precious those friendships have been, and just being here and hanging out and talking till the early hours and just being around people that I love and that love me and having that support. And so I was thinking a bit about what is the journey towards that, like what helps us cultivate more good friendships, helps us find people in our lives that, be it as part of the recovery journey or be it at part of other chapters in life, of having people which share our values. Because for a lot of us, the people that we grew up with, or perhaps the people that were a key part of our life pre ME chronic fatigue, may not be the people which most share our kind of values now. And one of the things that I think people often experience is that they grow and they evolve and their perspectives of the worlds evolve, and then almost like it becomes a tension, it becomes a challenge with the people around us. And there's an analogy that I often use around the dance of change, that if we are in a particular dance with people and then we decide to change that dance, let's say we're dancing I don't know my dances very well, we're dancing a waltz, let's say. And then let's say that we decide to dance disco or something. That person has really one of three choices. They are either going to pull us back into the waltz, they're going to try and hold us back into the dance we were in before, or they are going to come and dance the new dance with us. They're going to change with us in that relationship. Or we are going to have to go and dance on our own. We're going to have to go and dance the different dance by ourselves. And that feels isolating. It's often, we feel that we're losing, when we have a chronic illness, we feel like we're losing things in our life. And one of the things that people can feel like they're losing is their friendships. Because certainly for me, when I was 16 years old, as a kind of teenage boy, your friendships are based on the activities that you do with your friends. And if you can't do those activities, you don't have the kind of social connections and the social capital that obviously are super important. So it can almost be like having, I'm kind of mixing my metaphors here, but it's almost like having a room full of furniture which is comfortable and suitable, and then suddenly your tastes or your needs change, and you move all that furniture out, and now you're just in an empty room. And actually you feel more isolated than you did before, even though it almost feels like wouldn't it be better to not be changing and just be like the kind of way you were before, because at least you had connection. So I think partly it's just helpful to normalize that process to recognize that if you're feeling that way, you're feeling isolated from the people that had been important in your life before getting ill, and there's a part of you that's really missing having connection and friendship at this chapter, you're probably not alone. And it's only when we have that feeling of space, when we make space for new people in our life, that there's the potential for new people to come in. Because otherwise what happens is we end up spending all of our time around people that aren't really the people we want to be around, because we don't want to be alone. So that experience of aloneness doesn't necessarily have to mean we're lonely. We can also deepen our connection with ourselves. We can deepen our sense of connection to what's more than ourselves, our sense of connection to whatever our kind of spiritual beliefs might be. And then it is actively going out and looking for and cultivating those friendships which are most suitable of where you are at this point. And it's having a clear sense of the kind of person you want to be in those friendships and the kind of people you want to have connection with. So if you have a history of being a helper, you're somebody that's always giving to and being there for other people, that you want to have more balanced relationship. So you're actively working on that helper pattern and looking for people that are not just looking to take from you, but they're looking to have that kind of collaborative, supportive connection. It's then thinking about what are the kinds of places where you might meet people like that. One of the great things about the internet is that we can sorry, change hands, my arm's going to fall off, that we have the opportunity to meet people in chat rooms and forums that almost by definition of being in those spaces share some of the values and the ideas that we have. So actively going out there and looking to cultivate those friendships and that support. As recovery allows it, going to the kinds of places and events where we're likely to meet people. And so going to workshops, places like the 90-day program, I know people have created lifelong friendships there. Certainly things like the practitioner program, where it's over a series of a year or two that there's that kind of ongoing support and connection to community, what can be super important. There's lots of different ways, but it's about setting that active intention. And it's about, if we want our relationships to be different to before, it's also consciously looking at who do we want to be in relationship? What kind of friendships do we want to have with what kinds of people? And who do we need to be in those for things to be different? Because one of the things that's fascinating about life is everywhere you go, there you are. And one of the things that I've seen in people where they have struggles around friendship and relationship is that they keep thinking, if I can just get in a new relationship or change my friendships, then everything's going to be different. Or you see that in people thinking if they can change location, that they keep moving to different countries or different cities in the expectation that that's going to be more suited to what they need. And that's not saying that isn't sometimes appropriate, sometimes it is appropriate. But the one thing that's guaranteed is everywhere we go, there we are. And so we can change friendships, we can change locations, but if we don't change, we still end up cultivating and creating the same kinds of connections. And so if we want our connections to be different, yes, we need to go out and discover and meet and connect to those people which may be more suitable to where we are, but it's also looking at who we are in that connection and in that relationship. So, yeah, I hope that's been helpful. It's starting, I think, to rain out here, so I might stop in a second. Yeah, feel free to share your questions, your comments, experiences underneath. And if you are feeling that you're struggling and having connection and support with other people, then you are most likely not alone. The Optimal Health Clinic community group might be a great place to connect to people. There are lots and lots of these days different places, online, offline, events, workshops, courses. And as you get, further down the recovery path, lots of opportunities in terms of retreats and kind of coordinated kind of holidays and such things. So recognize the importance of support and connection, make it a priority as it's appropriate, realize the stages we go through in that transition, and ultimately that relationship with yourself is the piece which is so crucial and so important. Anna's just asking about more recovery videos. Yes, we had some scheduling conflicts and issues. As you guys might have noticed, these videos have become a little bit less consistently 6 o'clock on a Wednesday evening. My schedule the last month has been quite difficult with conflicts and things. Because I haven't got my laptop in front of me, I think we have another recovery story scheduled before Christmas. I know we have 5 or 6 in the pipeline over the next coming few months, so they will be coming. We just needed a bit more time to tie up my schedule and the people that I'm doing the interviews with. So thanks everyone for watching. Hi, Jean is watching in Kent. I'll just, if I can give you guys, I don't know if I can flip the camera on here, I would dare, but maybe I can just show you guys a bit more of just how beautiful this is. It's an old mill on the river, which is now a meditation centre out here in the Dordogne in France, which is run by a couple of my closest friends. It's a beautiful river, and yeah, I'm off for a little walk. So bye-bye for now, and thanks for watching.